Everybody say they want to run 10 flat, but very few actually understands what the journey looks like. You don't go from 12-0 to 10 flat by just training harder. Each level demands a different version of you, new mechanics, new strength, and really most importantly, a new mindset. So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact roadmap that I use and now that I use with my athletes, and to break every single barrier from 12 flat to 11.5 to 11.0 to 10.7 to 10.3 to 10.0. This is the blueprint I wish I had when I started. My name is Lawrence Ella Johnson. I'm a professional sprinter, multiple time D1 NCAA All-American, and former dual sport D1 athlete in track and football. And this year I ran my first wind-aided sub-10 performance in a 100-meter dash, and I also took 9th at the USA Championships in the 100-meter dash. And here's the proof behind what I teach. Every single athlete I work on a one-on-one basis for at least 6 months has PR'd in at least one of their events or one of our speed testing metrics, barring injury. So let's get into it. The sprinting plateaus. So see, most athletes hit a wall because they treat every year the same workouts, the same intensity, and the same mistakes. They chase times instead of systems, and what happens is they peak early, they overtrain, or they get stuck at 11.2 or 10.8 forever. And what I learned is what I teach inside Sprint University is that speed evolves in layers, and each barrier requires a fix to a new bottleneck. So let me show you exactly how this evolution works. We're going to break it down phase by phase with specific focus points, training examples, and the biggest mistakes I see athletes make at every single level. So from 12.0 to 11.5, the focus is mechanics and rhythm. At this level, this is the biggest thing that's killing your speed. It isn't your power, it's your mechanics. Your posture's off, your ground contacts are sloppy, and your rhythm is inconsistent. And you don't need fancy drills, you need movement mastery. And that's one of the pillars that I teach inside of my community. But here's the focus, is to learn proper frontside mechanics, that's knee lift, that's heel under glute, and that's foot striking under center of mass. So that's drill posture and projection. So what you want to do here is run tempo runs twice a week, 8 times 150 at 70% intensity with short rests to build coordination and rhythm. And then in the weight room, you're going to focus on general strength. So that's squats, RDLs, lunges, and pull-ups. There's really no need for Olympic lifts yet, but just get strong, balanced, and mobile. And the biggest mistake here is training like a pro without moving like one. So you can't chase 10-second speed if you haven't earned 11.5 rhythm. So level 2 would be 11.5 to 11.0. The focus on here should be strength into power conversion. So now that you're strong enough to move fast, you haven't learned how to apply that strength. And this is where the shift from general strength to explosive power comes in. So now we do Olympic lifts. Now we implement sleds, and short accelerations become the foundation. And here's what training should look like. Acceleration days should be 4 times 30 meters, 3 times 50 meters with full recovery, and then resisted sprints are also implemented here. So that's sled pushes, 10 to 20% of your body weight focusing on shin angles, and the weight room should be trap bar deadlift, power cleans, Bulgarian split squats, and Nordic curls. And plyos should be box jumps, bounds, and low contacts for reactivity, like pogos. And then the cue here is that force needs to be in the right direction. So you're not just getting stronger, you're actually learning how to project force horizontally and not just vertically. And a common mistake that I see here is overlifting, right? And too much heavy strength and not enough transfer. Remember, strength is just potential power. You still got to express it. And now we go to level 3, 11.0 to 10.7, and this is really the bread and butter. What I see in our coaching program, we see 11.2 to 10.4, these jumps all the time. But at this point, you're strong, you're powerful, but your top end speed exposes everything. Inefficiency shows up between 40 to 80 meters, and this is why it's one of my favorite areas to coach, because this is where the nuance truly occurs. So your goal here is stiffness, posture, and relaxation. So the training priorities need to be flying sprints with 6 times 30 meters with full recovery, wicket runs to ingrain rhythm and frequency, and stiffness plyos, so pogo hops, rudiment series, single leg bounds, and acceleration maintenance. So that's 2 times 60 meters after flies. The weight room need to shift to velocity-based training, lighter weights, faster reps. And this is about rate of force development and not grinding through 5 rep maxes. And the common mistake here I see time and time again, and the one that I made in my career, is just too much volume. Really overloading the nervous system with junk speed, because speed is a nervous system skill, not an endurance event. So at this stage, recovery becomes training. So that's sleep, hydration, and microdosing sessions more rather than just grinding through sessions. And then now level 4 would be 10-7 to 10-3. And that's specific endurance and technical refinement. So now you're kind of approaching the elite category. You can hit elite splits, but can you hold them, right? And this is the level, it's all about maintaining your rhythm through transition. So that's 60 meters through 100 meters, where 90% of athletes fall apart. In a training example, this would be 3 times 120 at 90 to 92% intensity, 4 to 5 minutes rest, or 2 150s at 95% effort with 6 minutes rest, or even split runs. So 60 easy with a 60 cut down, 80 easy plus 60 cut downs, 2 to 3 sets with full recovery. And then in the weight room, it's all about dropping volume and keeping contrast training. So that's something heavy and then moving something fast. So it might be a trap bar of 2 reps into a 20-meter sprint. And this is where film analysis becomes non-negotiable. You need to see on striding patterns, your ground contact times, and your posture under fatigue. And the huge mistake that I see here is they think it's all about speed endurance. But at this level, it's rhythm and endurance. You don't need to push longer. You need to maintain precision longer. So just telling someone to extend their drive phase to run fast at this point isn't really a good idea. So now we're going to enter the elite zone, where the smallest details is what truly separates somebody from 10-3 to 10-0. So there's no longer about, just adding. It's all about refining. So your training should shift from performance to building performance preserving. Yes, so here's what it actually looks like. That's speed profiling. So we need to have time 30s, 60s, and 80s every 2 to 3 weeks. That's density tracking, knowing exactly how often you can hit high central nervous days before you crash. That's custom acceleration models. So that's adjusting shin angles, right? Head projections, arm mechanics, all based on your strengths. And then that's micro priming. That's neural sprints. 2 to 3 sets of 20 meters, 24 hours before races. And then the recovery needs to be cold plunges, Epsom salts, Normatex, and a specific supplement routine that we'll maybe talk about at another time, but magnesium glycinate, maybe sleep tracking. And at this level, recovery is the separator. You don't need more sessions, you need better timing, you need better feel, and you need precision execution under high stress environments. So training hard to squeeze out that 0.1 second, it's kind of it's important, but at 10-3 and below, harder doesn't always mean smarter, right? So we want smart work at this level. So everyone's map looks different, right? So I understand this. And this roadmap only works because the principles are true, but your journey will always look different, different nuances, different deficiencies, different strengths. All these things play into it. So there's a ton of nuance to this, but it might just be mechanics. It might just be recovery. And that's why cookie cutter programs really fail 99% of the people, because you need someone who can look at your film, give you a strength profile, make sure your timing data connects with the dots that you want to build toward. And that's why I built my one-on-one program and not just these generic random 12-week programs, because I believe you need one-on-one for at least 6 months to see real sustained gains. So there's not a magic pill, there's not a magic drill, because every map is different, and whatever that bottleneck is, you need some assistance to help you find it and fix it. So you really just need the right sequence at the right phase. And when I went from 10-7 to 10-0, it wasn't about intensity, it was about refinement, rhythm, and recovery, and actually finding a sprint specialist. So I suggest that you do the same thing, and that's how you move from potential to performance. So at this point in the video, you have two options, right? If you're ready to stop guessing and stop plateauing and start running the times that you know you're capable of, you can join my free community called Sprint University in the description of this video. Now, if you want to work with my team on a one-to-one level so you can be like one of the athletes that I said in the beginning of this video, you can book a call with the second link in the description to see if you're a good fit. Worst case scenario, you're not, but we can still kind of point you in a direction. But best case scenario, we absolutely change your speed forever, and I'll see you guys in the next video.